Good evening. Welcome to Full Time Sports Network. I am joined by Wardy and Ross. How are you both?
All good this side. Really feeling happy to join you guys on a Monday. Usually I'm not here on a Monday, but hey, got two wonderful gentlemen to accompany me. How are you guys?
Yeah, not too bad. How about you, Wardy? Oh no, his mic's gone off. Whilst Wardy sorts out his mic, I'm going to go through our sponsors. So I shall say we are proudly sponsored by Global Mapping Surveys. Global Mapping Surveys currently assist architects, property developers and construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning and monitoring. The link is in the description for the website and contact details. Thank you so much to Global Mapping Surveys. And also, we are partnered with Wraith Esports Energy. Wraith is a powdered energy formula which is mixed with water. It's a healthy alternative to generic canned energy drinks. It's clean, zero sugar, antioxidant rich formula is designed to give you the edge. Use code FTSN22 for a 10% discount. And unfortunately, whilst I was going through that, Wardy had to drop out. Hopefully, Ward comes back due to the fact this is all about Liverpool. Now, the reason this is about Liverpool is there was a statement which I will read now. If I can actually get back up again, that's the problem. There we go. Right. So this was the statement that was released today. There have been a number of recent changes of ownership and rumours of changes in ownership at EPL clubs. And inevitably, we are asked regularly about Fenway Sports Group ownership in Liverpool. FSG has frequently received expressions of interest from third parties seeking to become shareholders in Liverpool. FSG has said before that under the right terms and conditions, we would consider new shareholders if it was in the best interest of Liverpool as a club. FSG does remain fully committed to the success of Liverpool, both on and off the pitch. And Wardy has managed to come back. So how are you, mate?
All good. Don't know what happened there. We'll sort it out. I think it's... I'm scared of some of these questions that are going to be fired at me.
No, I'm gentle with questions. I really am. Right, should we get into the questions that I've already produced? Yeah? Right, yep. So this is the first one. Should Arsenal fans, I've got the Arsenal hat on there, take the Arsenal hat off. Should Liverpool fans be more concerned about the players' playing style than the owners currently? Now, the reason I asked this, because I watch a lot of Liverpool, I do loads of watch-alongs. Everyone knows me for the watch-alongs, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I wasn't that convinced yesterday, even though you did win. It was a good win at Tottenham. I'm still not convinced by Liverpool. There's a lot of players on there I'm just not convinced by, and the playing style. But this is your club, so I'll let you answer. But that's my theory.
I think, to be fair, I mean, I think there's a lot of Liverpool fans which aren't convinced at the moment. In general, I think I just honestly and genuinely think that we are struggling. In terms of a squad, with the depth, with the quality that comes in when the better players are out, we're, I think I feel sorry for some of the young kids that are coming into it. We should have, in my opinion, we were majorly messed up as a club. In my opinion, is when we won the Champions League, we didn't buy anyone, we didn't invest. We should have then thought, right, Liverpool are back to that level. Let's kick on, and we need to get in X, Y, and Z, and then strengthen as everyone else has done year on year. And I think we're just paying the price for that again now. We've not got the quality. Relying on a 37-year-old Jimmy Milner to play right back when players are out, drop into midfield when players are out. Play left back when Andy Robertson's not playing or Timoskas isn't there, or we're struggling and we haven't got the depth and the quality. And I would say not necessarily how we are playing, but the players that we're expecting to play to the standards that we've set over the last few years. I think that's the problem we've got.
Okay, Ross, same question to you. Should they be more concerned about the players or the actual owners of Liverpool?
You see, with the players, you know what you can expect because these are the same players that have played under Klopp and his system for many seasons now. I feel like there's more uncertainty with the owners, especially who's going to be coming in to buy the shares that could potentially become majority share owners and therefore bringing in a new reign into the Liverpool era. So my own opinion is I would be much more worried with the hierarchy within Liverpool. This is the same hierarchy that was pushing for the Super League. These players, yes, a lot of them are still feeling fatigued. There was a very short break from last season to this season. Plus, you got the World Cup coming on. But Jurgen Klopp's there, and he's a class manager, top class coach. He knows how to set up the team. The players are, as I said, still trying to recover through a busy, busy season. So, yeah, I think if you don't have a stable leadership and a stable hierarchy, that could cause your ship to sink. So that's where the main focus or worry should be.
Okay. Right. Before I ask the next question, I just want to quickly go up to the comments because Colm has already left us a message. Big up, lads. Sorry I can't be with you today. I will say the new owners will be there, will have a lot to do. They have an aging squad and fans, massive ambitions to compete for trophies. Big up to Footmoss. Hope you're doing well. LeBron James already an FSG. Yes, he's part of the. And big up to Luke as well. Hope everyone is well. So next question, it's more of a, it's going to happen in a couple of months. So I was wondering, what does this mean, this statement mean for the January transfer window in your eyes, Wardy? I'm going to ask Wardy all these questions first, Ross, just because it's his club.
Well, as we kind of touched on just before we came live, I think that I've got a sneaky feeling, Klopp's had chats with the owners and he's told them what he wants. And I think that there's going to be a huge reliance on him getting what he needs over the next 6 to 12 months for him to carry on and stay at Liverpool. Because, with all due respect, he can walk into another job anywhere in the world. That's not going to be a problem for him. The huge success he's brought to Liverpool, but you've got to give him what he needs to take it to that next level of competitiveness against your Cities. Your Newcastles are now creeping up the league, and I think he's probably said, I'm going to need 150 million. I want to buy Jude Bellingham. That's the one I want him to get. Him and another midfielder. We need two midfielders at least. So to bring that midfield back up to a level where we're going to be able to pit Man City to the post, go that little bit further in the Champions League again. So for me, it's probably made FSG come out with that statement to a degree. I would envisage the chats they've had with Klopp over what he wants and what he needs. That's where I think that's come from today, mainly.
Okay. So, Ross, what do you think it would mean for the January transfer window?
Yeah, well, I have to agree with what Woody's saying there. I mean, the Liverpool squad definitely needs some reinforcements. We were chatting about as well before the show started that Liverpool have become a sell-to-buy club. I mean, you've lost Sadio Mane, and yes, you may have replaced him, not like for like, but you have replaced him in a way with Diaz and Darwin Núñez. And those guys still need a bit of time to adjust to the Premier League. That's a given. But I think what Klopp's done with the current side at the moment, with the injury worries and all the fatigue and whatever else is going on, is actually very underrated. I mean, we look at how Harvey Elliott's been playing in a sense midfield role, and that's not his natural role or position. But tactically, the way Klopp has molded the team around the current problems, that's astonishing. That's also a great sign of a really, really good manager. Yeah, some reinforcements are definitely needed just for the depth in the squad, considering Liverpool are going all out in all competitions. And you've seen with them focusing on the Champions League, their league form may have taken a slight bit of a knock. And that's a given. That's given with sides that are elite, like Liverpool, that are competing for those trophies. One thing I would like to ask Wardy, though, is which position do you guys want to, or do you foresee that you guys should actually start to reinforce?
We're centre mid. We're desperate for it. I just think we're desperate for it. We've got, if Thiago's not playing, there's nothing there in a creative way. I would say, we've got some great ball winners in there. We've got some lads that do box to box very, very well. We've got no one from midfield that will burst past the forwards into the box. No one that will break that line and get past Salah, Bobby, whoever's playing up top. Jude Bellingham is the answer, I think, for the Liverpool midfield, as he probably would be for any midfield department at the minute. That's why you've got, your Madrids, your Man Uniteds looking at him. I'm sure City will probably dip their toe in as well and see if they can tempt him. But, for me, it's got to be central midfield. that is where we are desperate. We're desperate for new blood, younger blood, more attacking natured players in that position for sure.
Yeah, spot on. Just want to quickly get into some comments because I don't want to build him up. I think this is Paxton. He's a Man United fan. I think the question is, will FSG fund a full rebuild of the squad? If not, then yes, the ownership is most important. And Luke, who is an Arsenal fan, I think it means they won't sign anyone in January. It's possible. You know, when you're trying to sell a club, do you really want to spend more money? But what you've both commented on was Jurgen. So do you think, what does this mean for the future of Jurgen? Do you think he is untouchable? Even if you had new owners, do you think he is untouchable?
I don't think anyone is, are they? You know, I think the form's been up and down this year. Obviously, everyone's seen that. The squad's had injury issues, which there's just been no sort of real block consistency in the side he's been able to pick. He's had to make changes pretty much every week. Just going back quickly to that FSG comment about the January window, yeah, that's probably right. That's probably why they won't fund a rebuild, and that's why they've released a statement now, because you know, if they can get £4 billion back after a 300 million investment, then you know you don't need to be Einstein to work that one out. That's a good deal. So, you know, why are they gonna fund a squad rebuild when someone else can come in and do it? They're just not. Yeah. They're not going to do that. And that's why they're looking now. You've got 6 weeks till Christmas, till January window opens. I'm sure they'll be able to get a deal sorted out and resolved within that period of time while everyone's looking at the World Cup. And then I'm sure they're hoping someone new takes over the reins from probably January.
Yeah, so Ward is very positive that it will be quick. So, Ross, what do you think about the Jurgen Klopp situation? Do you think he's untouchable?
No, he isn't. I'm just surprised that what he said, it's 6 weeks till Christmas. Didn't realize it was that soon. Hope there's a new centre mid under Jurgen Klopp's tree.
Yeah, hopefully there's a few. Hopefully,
yeah. Yeah, speaking about centre mids, before I touch on Jurgen Klopp, what about Curtis Jones? He was seen as a player that was supposed to come in, local lad, and take the team and the league by storm. He's fallen off.
I don't think, I've got no doubts that some of these young lads that are coming through are going to be good players in time. I think we're relying too heavily on them. They need to be integrated slowly but surely, played in the right games, played in the right fixtures, given a run in the team at the right time. And it's a little bit unfair on him and Harvey Elliott that they've been thrown in the deep end when we've needed them, because of injuries mainly. But, again, I was listening to the radio today and some of them were talking about Harvey Elliott, what a good player he can be. But I just don't feel it's his right time now to be given that responsibility and relied upon in the vein that he is in the team at the moment. He needs to be gently worked into it over a period of time rather than, saying, there you go, lad, get cracking, when we've got 3 or 4 other centre midfielders out injured. I don't think it's particularly fair on the players to expect that from them either.
No, exactly. And I mean, Klopp plays quite a high-pressing, high-tempo style. And to throw a youngster in there, one that's as inexperienced as Harvey Elliott, it's quite tough. But fair play to him for actually taking that on the chin.
Not to mention the injury he had as well.
Yes, exactly. That was quite a lengthy layoff.
I've suffered that same injury, and that is a bad injury to have. So he's done well to even get back to being, in contention and playing on and off in that team. He's done really well.
No, exactly. And, you have to credit the player and the manager, because obviously the manager's put the faith in him and the player restored that faith. But I don't think Klopp is untouchable, and I actually feel a bit sorry for Klopp. The only reason is because he's, 7 years into his tenure? That's a long time for a manager nowadays. If you had asked me the same question 4 or 5 years ago, I'd say, no, he still has plenty of time to reach his peak. But now I feel that a lot of the times now, managers are the first ones to go and face the sack once teams start not performing. And that's the thing. Liverpool might, after the World Cup, their form might get even worse because they might not get the reinforcements they need in January, and then it'll be on Klopp's shoulders, and he might be given the boots, and he'll be the scapegoat. Klopp might even say that this project is done. He's taken the team as far as he could, wash his hands with it, and start to look for other vacancies across Europe because he's a manager of that stature. He could get any job he wants. So I do feel sorry for Klopp.
More likely to do that, the latter there. I think he's a clever guy. I think he can see the issues that he's got this year, and you can see a lot in his demeanour and how he is in interviews this year. He's a lot more touchy than usual. I think he's feeling. I think he's being a lot more. He's been a lot more frustrated this year than I've seen him before. And what is it in marriage terms? Is it 7-year itch? Is that what they say? So it could be the year that he does say, I've given you this, I've delivered X, Y, and Z. I'm asking for this. If he can't do that, then find someone else to do it. And I wouldn't be overly surprised if he did walk at some point this year or at the end of the season, potentially, if he doesn't get what he wants.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say about Klopp, it's well known that he had 7 years at Dortmund, 7 years at Mainz, and then it's 7th year in Liverpool. So, yeah, it's a weird one. It is weird because you can see it happening again, but I don't think it's all down to Klopp, to be honest. For me, I think it's a bigger problem. I just want to get into the comments because I don't want to build them up. FSG wanting to sell it might be just what a lot of the shareholders want to cash in, as that could be a possibility, as they have their hands in a lot of pots and want to keep buying stuff too. Paxton comes back here. I think if new owners come in and replace Klopp, it will at least put pressure on them straight away to get in another amazing manager. And Luke has a question for Wardy. How would Wardy feel about potential Saudi or Qatari government buying Liverpool?
Well, it's a difficult question. I think if it was the best thing for Liverpool, and I think if it was something that would take the reins off a little bit in terms of what Klopp could do and what he would be allowed to do in terms of expenditure, I think that would be good, because at the moment it just feels like they're a racehorse in a race with like 3 jockeys on their back, and they're up there, but they just can't get to the front. So, again, they'd have to do all their due diligence as they do on things like that. But if it was right and it was the right type of company or potentially country that would be backing it, then it can only benefit Liverpool long term if it's the right thing for the club.
Yeah, spot on. So I'm going to get on to the next question. I'm going to skip one of them because we've kind of talked about it enough. But are FSG, are they the reason for the success in recent seasons? Me and Ross were talking about this before we went out. Or is it Klopp? Do you think it's FSG, or do you think it's mainly to do with Klopp, or do you think it's actually both? I have my opinions, but I obviously want your opinions on this one, mate.
I think you can't do anything. You can't do anything in football these days without decent backing. Whether it be spending what you need to spend, whether you're a sell to buy club, which Liverpool have been over the last few years. But I think Klopp has to take a hell of a lot of credit for what's gone on. 7 years, he's got the league back. He's won the Champions League, won various other bits and pieces. He's transformed the club into, from donkey's years of me being a fan, watching them finish mid-table, 7th, 8th, 9th. It felt like being a Villa fan for so long. But you have to take your hat off to Klopp. He's done an amazing job. He has, and he is a top manager. He's recently, like Ross said earlier, he's done a great job with a squad that hasn't got that depth that he wants as a manager. And he has worked a bit of magic, I think, in certain parts of certain seasons and done well with the players that he's got. He is missing Mane this year without a shadow of a doubt. Núñez hasn't really settled in yet, even though he's got a couple of goals more recently. The 2022 Andy Carroll, I like to call him. Yeah, I think Klopp is the main reason for that. I would say. I think if FSG had done a little bit more, he would have got a lot more back in terms of trophies. I think, and I think they have. I think they have wasted a great opportunity with, at times an outstanding squad to just push that a little bit harder to get another league or another Champions League under their belt at least.
Yeah, I'll let Ross come back because I'm sure a comment you might have made there he might have touched a nerve. So I'll let Ross reply now.
No, absolutely right. I wish Villa were a middle table team. I wish we were getting to the top 10. So no, I do not know what it feels like yet. I actually feel worse.
Sure you will.
But I was actually thinking back, 12 years FSG has been running Liverpool Football Club. And I was thinking about the managers that were in charge throughout those 12 years. Brendan Rodgers comes to mind. Was Roy Hodgson also there as well during
Very
then?
briefly. He didn't even do a year, did he? He did 6 months?
Yeah.
6 months.
And then who was after Brendan Rodgers? Was Klopp?
I think he did come after Brendan, yeah, if I remember rightly. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was straight after, yeah.
So this is where I'm circling back to now, just to connect the dots. You look at where FSG, what they started with at Liverpool, and I still remember the takeover, and I thought, geez, 300 million for a football club, that's a lot of money. I mean, we've got closer to transfer price tags now than actual football club takeovers. So it just shows how much the game has evolved. And you think about the structure that they had put in and what they started at. They started Roy Hodgson, Liverpool battling into the Europa League, and once they were there, it was still classed as a Mickey Mouse competition. Brendan Rodgers helped take you guys up a step as well. But I think the real developments came in, and the real turnaround was when Klopp was appointed, and he was still seen as this young, upbeat, ambitious manager from Germany who did so well with Dortmund. And I look at the transfer fees as well that Klopp was backed with. There was nothing there besides the Virgil transfer, which was, I think, 75 mil, which was probably, and barring Nunes, because I'm not going to include this season's transfers. But during those 7 years, you guys didn't spend a lot compared to your competitors, yet you did arguably a lot more with what you had. If you look at the likes of Arsenal, Spurs, United, Chelsea were constantly getting bankrolled, and so was Manchester City. And I would like to believe that success starts at the top, where the hierarchy set out a goal throughout the structure and give the managers a platform and the team a platform to project off to achieve the objectives. And I think it was a good, perfect balance at the time. And yeah, it was really good at the time that Klopp and FSG found each other with Liverpool and literally rose that phoenix from the ashes to win the Champions League, to get to Champions League final as well. That lost to Real Madrid. That's still a really, really good feat to get to, and still winning the Premier League. I think both of them, both the club owners and Klopp, have contributed to the recent success of Liverpool. And I think once one starts to fall away, the other might as well, because they built that relationship in tandem. It could be a new era for Liverpool starting now. I think next season, once new owners are in, if new owners are in, there'll be a new attitude towards Liverpool. I cannot tell you if we're good or bad, because Klopp might still be there. Some people might say that the football that happens under the new ownership, but with an old manager, they'll claim it could be stale. We've seen it at other clubs before. I don't know what will change first, the manager or the owners, but it's definitely something to look forward to with the new era upon us.
He said it so beautifully there. I have to say, well done, Ross. I just want to get into the comments again before we go up to our last question, because we do want to wrap this up within half an hour. It's mostly Klopp's Moss saying here, but Liverpool and American owners happy to make the dollars, and that asset worth grew. But yeah, Liverpool did rather good, and Klopp did very well, but it may just be what I said. Paxton saying FSG have backed the club, and the fact that they have had such great contract renewals, getting Salah to resign, etc., but only about 35% them. The rest is Klopp for me. Moss saying also make the profits with a sale, but yeah, they must know some big back money wants to buy it. Yep, and Moss is exactly saying what I said. Is Ross has put it perfectly. So I'm going to get into the final question. It's going to be an interesting one, just because some owners have not always been good. So will a new owner be a positive mood for Liverpool? Wardy, over to you, mate.
I think it will be. Yeah, I think it all depends on who they are, what their intentions are, where they see Klopp fitting in. For me, I think that the new owners need to back him in a bit of a rebuild. You know, he has got an aging squad. You know, there's no getting around that, especially in midfield. Yeah, I still think he probably needs a partner for Van Dijk at the back. He's chopping and changing with Gomez and various other centre halves. Again, we've struggled with injuries there a little bit too. But I think if the new owners come in, they've got. I think if they've got a blank checkbook for him to say who he wants, what positions he wants to rebuild, bring new faces in. I think Klopp would be a great guy to carry on the job, but he can build it as he wants with the players he actually wants. You know, and he's got no sort of real restrictions, if you like. He can handpick the players that he wants to bring in. They'll sign the checks off, and then he sinks or swims in that respect. You know, if they sign, hopefully get Bellingham, maybe one or two others in midfield, a decent centre half partner for Van Dijk, I think that would make the world of difference for Liverpool. And again, it will carry on. 7 years. It's great. It's a great job he's done there. He has done a fantastic job. And he's put Liverpool back on the world stage as one of the top clubs in Europe. So you have to take your hat off to the lad. He's done fantastic. I still go back to it. If SG had just backed him a little bit more, I still think there would be maybe another league, maybe another Champions League or two in the trophy cabinet as well. But that's what I'm sure he's hoping for if new owners come in and take over the mantle from the FSG crew.
Yeah. What about you, Ross? What do you think?
I think so. I think a lot of Liverpool fans, and maybe Wardy can agree with me here, a lot of them have not forgiven the Liverpool owners for what they did during the Super League and pushing that agenda. And that's caused a big rift between the supporters and the club. Naturally, you can't repair a relationship like that. Yes, perhaps they could bankroll some more transfers. Perhaps they could even win some more trophies. But that's an unfortunate stain on a very, very good recent history for Liverpool. I think a new owner would bring a new breath of fresh air. We look at Chelsea with Todd Bowley replacing Roman Abramovich. The circumstances are quite different, yes. But we look at the new lease on life. They've got a new manager. They've got a new way they want to play football. And everybody's still guessing on how the team will perform. And like I mentioned earlier, the last thing you want is for Liverpool to become stale. I don't think anybody wants that. People want to remember Klopp and the owners right now as a successful part of their history and their era. So perhaps having new owners might just be a natural change of hierarchy, a new change of selection. So I do see that as a positive move.
Yeah. I just want to get into one comment, and it's probably hard for Paxton to write due to the fact he's a United fan, but you always have the chance of bad ownership, but I think most owners can elevate this team. My theory on this is I think FSG are very similar to Glazers in the way that they manage money. They're not the greatest owners for me. That's my personal opinion. I think you'll be very lucky to get a very good owner again. There is a lot of talk of Sir Jim. Sir Jim is very keen on owning a Premier League team. He obviously would prefer Man United, but he did try and get Chelsea. There's talk of him possibly bidding for Liverpool. I think he would be perfect, absolutely perfect, due to the fact he knows how to run that kind of sporting industry. He will get a good lot of backing behind him as well. For me, I think I'm one of those. My partner's granddad, he's sports Liverpool, so Liverpool are within the family circle, let's say. I don't want Liverpool to be the way that they are now. That was a 10th. Where did they climb to last night? Was it 9th or 10th?
9th, I think they are now. I think it is.
So the 9th. It's you know, I do stuff on the Armory, which is an Arsenal channel, and I've got 1989 game, which I'm sure Wardy knows all about.
Yeah.
But it's that's how long Liverpool have always been part of my life. It's one of my first Arsenal memories was Liverpool. I'd never want I don't want Man United going down there either, to be honest. That stage where they've got such bad ownership, they're never going to challenge. Because what I've always said, and I've always said this on streams, that the only way we can stop Man City literally just winning this title every season is if we all are going up there again. Because you can't do it with just one team. You can't just do it with Liverpool, because it was literally Liverpool and Man City. But other people need to chip away at Man City's points as well. So like Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. I'm not even going to say Tottenham because I don't know how they're a top 6 club. Top 5.
We stole 2 points from them.
Well, even Villa were always up and around there, like the 8th, 9th. They were kind of always around there. Like I remember some semi-finals in League Cup against Aston Villa for Arsenal. They have been big. But I think the reason that City have managed to pull away, obviously their finances is one of them, but it's the drop in other clubs as well. Like for me and Wardy's generation, a lot of our clubs back then have all dropped off quite significantly. Some of them went down to League One. It's shocking and quite scary. But I do hope Liverpool get some good owners, and I do hope it happens before January, because I do believe that the question that we asked earlier about the window, I don't think they will sign anyone in January if they're still selling, because it makes no sense to spend money for something you're going to be selling unless it ups the price for them what they're going to get. It doesn't.
Well, there's no way they're going to spend a penny if they're still in charge January the 1st. They won't, because that's not their end. That's not their end goal at the minute. Their end goal is to exit. So,
because I've got one more question to ask you, which you mentioned actually, and it made me think because I deal a lot of in FFP. Now, if you was to go and get Jude Bellingham and someone else, you are going to struggle with FFP quite a lot, because Jude's going to cost way over 100 million. We all know this. Let's be honest. And if you're looking for another good centre mid, another 60 million, maybe 70 million. So that's, let's say 200 mil.
Yeah. But
that's going to push FFP.
Doesn't the FFP get averaged out over X amount of seasons?
It does. But isn't that a massive risk for Liverpool?
I think what will probably save us in terms of the FFP is the fact that we've been a sell to buy. So what we've physically spent, we've actually generated in income before we've spent it. So it kind of balances them out, if you like. When did we win a Champions League? Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago? We didn't spend a penny that summer. So if you're looking over the FFP, the amount of years that they work it out on, I think buying 2 players for 150, 200 million, I don't think that would be a gamble. You could get 10 years out of Jude Bellingham, probably worst case scenario, 5, 6, 7 years maybe. He's going to be there for the long haul, and then he'll probably go and play in Spain. I think it's too early for him to go to Real Madrid. Doesn't need to do that yet. He's only, 19 still? So it's stupid. So I think it's just something that Liverpool have got to do. They've got to go out there and get a big marquee signing like him. Just to say to City, Newcastle, you might be spending, you might be winning games, but we're not going away. This is where we want to be, and this is what we're going to do to make sure we stick at the top of the league with you guys. It's imperative they do it. They've got to.
Ross, have you got anything to ask before we wrap up the show, mate?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember when we talk about Liverpool finances that they've probably got a lot more leeway than we realize. From my understanding, Barcelona still owe them money on the Coutinho deal that you can use as a leverage. And a lot of the sales that Liverpool do make when they sell players, they might not necessarily be getting a lot of transfer fees back, but those wages, when you offset the wages to the salary caps, that allows for a lot of freedom, a lot of room to play and maneuver when you look at the finances. I don't think you guys will get Bellingham in January. I do feel a bit sorry that your loan signing of Arthur, he's injured. I don't know for how long, and I do feel that's a bit of a blow. What I do think the most realistic option for Klopp and Liverpool at the moment in January, the most immediate future, is possibly another strategic loan signing like that. You might look at somebody either in the Bundesliga or the Serie A and perhaps have a future buy-on clause that you'd have to make after certain appearances. Like just smart transfers, because Klopp has done that before.
Yeah.
I don't foresee you guys just going out and buying Bellingham or any other marquee signing straight away. I think it'll be a clever deal and a sensible deal. But I do agree, you guys need some serious reinforcements and another star name. I don't know how the Darwin Núñez deal is supposed to work with that supposedly 100 mil. I don't know if that's just add-on clauses after certain appearances or whatever else. But yeah, Liverpool are in a healthy position because you guys are financially stable.
And Wardy, because this is your club, is there anything else you want to say on this matter anyway? Because it's obviously your club, so it matters to you more.
Well, the FSG side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that generally it's a bit like, I think Man United's probably a reasonable comparison. I think it's similar to the Glaziers. I think, that these owners, they buy the clubs for a reason. They get a good deal. They want to make money. Sometimes it's a quicker turnaround than others. 12 years is a long time. They're gonna make at least 10 times their money now. So you can understand it in a way. It's a good time for them to sell. I think I mentioned earlier they probably watched the Chelsea sale go through and how much that club's gone for. So I think, like Ross said earlier, I think FSG were at the club at the right time for Jurgen Klopp. I think they got the manager at the right time for Liverpool. He has done a great job over the last 7 years, but I think it's a time for change now. Hopefully getting, whoever it's going to be that buys the club with a good checkbook available for Jurgen to rebuild what he needs to rebuild. Everyone knows it. They comment on it every week when Liverpool play, in terms of the deficiency in midfield. And yeah, let's hope that he gets what he wants and we can go again, and build another strong side with some shrewd signings as he's made over the years. And hopefully, I'm hoping that they just get Jude Bellingham. I just think he would be amazing for Liverpool. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, as a follower of Dortmund, I have to say he would be amazing in the Premier League. I've loved watching him playing. I'm not far from Birmingham either, so I've heard so much about him and his younger brother, who is meant to be actually better than Jude, which is scary, to be honest, because Jude is immense, and if his younger brother is better, wow, what a player that's going to be. So before we wrap up, I want to thank everyone in the comments. But Wardy, where can they find you, mate?
Instagram, the original Ward. That's the main one really at the moment. Yeah, but hopefully back on here next week and some other bits and pieces, maybe with Solo in the future.
Brilliant stuff. What about you, Ross?
Well, every Tuesdays I'll be on the Football Lounge with you, Bobby. So you can find me there. But if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, I am @_Rose_.
Brilliant stuff. And Ross didn't know this, but I'm not on the lounge tomorrow, so I have to do an Arsenal preview. So I'm doing Arsenal related stuff tomorrow. Sorry, I do apologise.
Just lie to the viewers, and it's your fault. You put egg on my face. I feel like a knob now.
We got Carabao Cup this week. It just came out. To be honest, I forgot about it, and I thought, but I set it up. So yeah, I'm doing that tomorrow. So I'm doing a preview tomorrow. But big up to both you guys for joining me. Thank you for everyone that's watched. We got up to like 20 people watching it live at one point, so that was brilliant for a Monday night. For now, we are definitely all out of here. Take care, everyone. See you later.
Cheers, guys.